Hi, and welcome back to the Ascension Playground. My name is Ursi, and today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about sacred geometry. My friend Nancy Jean, she's invited me to come on her channel, and we'll record a little something about sacred geometry. But in the meantime, it got me so excited because I pulled out my old books, a specific card deck, and I just thought I'd share with you a little bit about what sacred geometry means to me. And when you think about geometry, that word, it might recall like in 8th or 9th grade when we had to study geometry in math class. So there could be a natural, well, it's so dry or boring, or maybe I didn't do so well in math when I was younger. But now that I'm a little bit older, I started bringing and incorporating geometry into my artwork. It was a big shift from going from the figurative work, which I'm known for, into purely abstract, emotional, colorful fields, and then into a place of geometry that was first informed by the mandala. And the mandala is really basically a circle with a center point. And that center point, when I was reading a little bit about Jung's work, Carl Jung, is like you can take that sacred center point, and as you're drawing a mandala, ask yourself too, where is my center? And so especially during times of upheaval or imbalance, or when sometimes the shit hits the fan, there's got to be a place for us on how to regroup, and how perhaps art or even the act of drawing can help bring you back into a center of focus. So I'm just going to put my little child hat on and just tell you, when you break down the word geometry, the word geo means earth. Thank you, Mother Earth. So geo. And geometry, comes from a root word, metron. So it's meaning the measurement. So geometry, really, its root derivation is, gosh, how to measure the earth. Then we bring out the word sacred. Sacred really underscores not religious tones specifically, but more like this idea like, wow, something feels sacred when it keeps showing up. Like you see a certain geometry of flowers, or you see a certain geometry of how a pine cone grows. And then when we get into biology later on in high school, it's like, okay, we start looking at our cells, cellular structure. Oh, there's a particular geometry there. Then you go even deeper into our DNA and you find, oh, it's a double helix, a spiral of a double helix within our very core essence of our human bodily form. So that's kind of like a long way of saying sacred geometry. Let's flow with it a little bit. Behind me again is what's called a unity star. This is a particular geometry that serves like a mirror for me. It helps remind me to collect all of my various facets, all those parts of myself to come into union, into a center point. And there's more on that particular geometry, because with each geometry, there's a little bit of a story. But without further ado, let me tie this back into nature. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. And on the playground, I can't help but bring out cards to play with. And did you know there's a water crystal oracle card deck by Dr. Masaru Emoto? Many of you on the spiritual path may have heard of Dr. Emoto. In essence, he scientifically looked at this hypothesis of, well, does water carry information? And so what he did was he created like this idea of, okay, when I say a certain word or a certain harmonic, would the water capture that? Okay, so he would then freeze the water after having, the sounds. Let's use classical music, let's say. And he could tell you what the music of Bach would look like, or Beethoven or Mozart, in the patterns that were being transmitted to the water. So he would freeze the water and later look at parts of the water under a microscope. And so some of these amazing crystalline geometries would start showing up. Now, side note, he also looked at rock and roll and discordant, perhaps non-harmonic music, and sent that into water and froze that. And the geometries weren't as beautiful or symmetrical. They were a little bit more having trouble. So my thought is, since we're about 70% in our bodies of water, wow, if we listen to certain music, will it inform our own cellular geometry within our water? Well, that's a lot, I know, but the rabbit hole can go deep. Anyway, I'm here to let people know who enjoy buying card decks that there's 48 cards in Dr. Emoto's card deck, and I'll show you a little sample. Okay, so here's like words on the backs of the cards. Honesty. Oh, autonomic nerve. Hado or Hado. Soul. Oop, Stonehenge. So in some cases, to get these particular frequencies, Dr. Emoto is able to have people just focus a particular thought or place into the water. He didn't even have to go necessarily to Stonehenge, but it's just this idea of transmission of thought into water. And so I pulled out a particular water crystal from the card deck that I thought was gorgeous. And also, with everything going on in the world today, the word prayer. And I'm in a place of whoever or however you pray, that's your personal business. For me, I'm looking at, what does the crystal look like from water when they focus their intention for prayer? Let's see what it looks like. Now, to me, this is gorgeous. Let me see if I can get the light a little bit less. There we go, less bright. What we're finding is a hexagonal shape, or six-sided, and look at these crystals. Since I'm hearing someone might be interested, look what Stonehenge looks like compared to prayer, right? Interesting. Oh, gotta show this one. This is the card for love, working with water from Lourdes. Look at that geometry. Amazing. So I'm just going to share that if you enjoy looking at how your thoughts create your physical reality, you may want to take a look at this water crystal oracle card deck. But I'm just going to share with you this game of whatever energy we put ourselves in, we are picking up on those frequencies. So that perhaps irritating person who happened to show up, your water structure will shift. And conversely, when you spend time with your puppies, your kitties, when you're out in nature, the harmony and the balance that you may want in your life right now, if you're feeling a little bit off, putting yourself in that kind of frequency of joy, or even just getting to neutral. So again, as the world around you might be going up and down, or, oh my gosh, there's so much to be afraid of, perhaps, if you let that thought come in, your body is listening, and it's signaling to the water within you to create those particular geometries. So I'm going to end there with just two suggestions. I'm going to remind myself, Ursula, watch what you're thinking, because thoughts Your body's listening, and those thoughts can turn into particular geometries within your body. And secondly, drink more water so we can flush out any toxins, any toxic thinking, any subconscious thinking, or we had a bad dream. Let's just drink more water. I don't think you can ever have enough water, but those are the two suggestions and fun things to remind myself of and share with you on the playground today. Hope your day's going well. See you next time. And thanks for being here. Bye.